Hey, more closings means more money, right? But so many agents struggle with closings, and in my daily interaction with many agents, right, I come across a number of reasons. So today I'm gonna discuss 5 reasons why you may be having few closings and how to solve this issue permanently forever. Hi, my name is Yasser Khan and I'm the author of Property Agent Secrets book, which is the most powerful book in the entire real estate industry, guaranteed. And for some time you can get the book for free. Just cover the small shipping fee over at propertyagentsecrets.com. So today I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why many agents may not be having as many closings as they would like to, and how to solve these permanently. And the number one reason for lack of closing, even if you can get a lot of appointment, has to do with the decision making process. And the reason is not all the decision makers are present in that appointment, and that is a hurdle to closing the sale, because without all parties being there, without all decision makers being there at one place in one location, you can't move forward. And that's the reason why it is a huge stumbling block. So how do you solve this issue of decision makers? Simple. You will need to more likely arrange for another meeting where all the decision makers are present, and that will help you get the closing that you want, right? So when all decision makers come together, and that is very, very conducive to the sale. All right. And the second reason why, even if all decision makers may be present, or for any other reason, why many agents may not close the appointment or close the deal, is because they do not have a presentation, do not have a script to close them. So the right script for the right situation is the biggest weapon that you can have, and it can help you tremendously. So you need to have a presentation for buyers, you need to have a presentation for sellers, and if you are after investors, you need to have a presentation for investors. This presentation is critical because there is a script, is a finely tuned psychological sales process script that the presentation follows, and it helps you to keep your closing rate consistent, because without using a script, your consistency will never be there, right? And a script is easy. Presentation, especially a PowerPoint presentation, is super easy, because all you have to do is show it to the prospect or your client in the meeting. That's all, right? So but the thing is that what kind of presentation, what kind of PowerPoint presentation is going to work? For that, you can just quickly go to my website, YasserKhan.SG, and download a free listing presentation. And if you're interested, you can get all of my presentation scripts and every single thing that come together in a package with my book, Property Agent Secrets. So I'm giving away all these presentation, all these PowerPoint, all these scripts to help you. So just make use of all the resources that I put out there for you. It's for your benefit. All right. So this is how you solve the problem of not having the proper presentation. I'm already putting out all the presentation that has helped my members close $132 million in real estate in Singapore in the past 36 months. All right. So then the first 2 reasons. The first reason was because not all the decision makers are present. The second reason was because not using a script, which is a presentation for the appointment, right? And the third reason is usually has to do with the personality type of the buyer or the seller that you are working with. You need to understand yourself before you can understand others, right? And the best way to do that is to take a simple personality test. That's it, right? And that personality is DISC, DISC, for short, DISC. So this DISC personality test is actually very critical. You need to understand that personality impact the selling situation much more than we know about. So people usually tend to downplay personality, but let me tell you, it's very, very important, and it plays a huge role in the way people communicate in selling situation, right? So you need to understand yourself first. What is your personality? What is your selling style? Before you can understand others, and then you have to adapt your personality to theirs. By personality, I mean, when you're in a selling position, right? So you understand your personality and you know the buyer personality, right? You can adapt accordingly. You can adapt the presentation to suit the buyer's needs rather than your needs. So you must always come from the angle of understanding and putting yourself in the buyer's shoes, right? So this is the solution. Just go online, search out for DISC test, fill it up, and you'll have the result. But if you want something more advanced, then I have my own coaching program where I teach you how, that the easy part is finding out your own personality, but the harder part is how do you know which personality type. There are 4 of such personality type, and if you meet a buyer or seller, how do you know which one is that? For that, I have my own coaching program and I have my own courses that helps you identify and adapt your presentation in any selling situation, and it dramatically improves your closing rate. Alright, and the 4th reason has to do with actually removing risk. This is something that many agents do not do. They do not know how to remove the risk from the buyer, from the seller. So they all focus on the sale, right? It's good to be focused on the sale, but you must understand that you must do everything that you can to remove all perceived risks for the buyer, for the seller, right? So buying a home is not easy, and buying a home is a major transaction. So there is a lot of uncertainty involved. There's a lot of risk involved, financial risk, emotional as well, right? So let's say, for example, right, so uncertainty, right? Then you have to remove the risk by communicating as often as possible with your seller. So many buyers out there, so many sellers out there would appreciate more communication from property agent. They would appreciate more responsiveness from property agent. If you are able to do that, you should do so, and that will definitely go a long way to help you in removing their risk and putting them at ease. And this is critical. And the last reason actually has to do with agreement. So what kind of agreement do you have in place with the buyer or with your seller or with the prospect, right? And how you word the wording of the agreement itself also plays a part. If any party at this point of time in the sales cycle feels uncomfortable, then they won't go ahead with the deal, because they think that the deal is not in their favor. So you have to make the whatever process is very favorable to them, right? I know that there is a CE form that you use to and all the template that your agency provides in order to help you close. But if you can have additional agreement, that will be very, very good. That will be very, very helpful to the buyers and sellers, and it shows that you are a real professional, right? So if you do all these things, right, you make sure that you have the right decision maker present. You make sure you're using the right presentation. You make sure that you are using the right kind of personality. You understand the personality of the prospect, of your client, and you adapt your situation, you adapt your presentation to his personality. And if you're able to remove all the risk and you're able to have a good agreement in place, then there's no reason why your closing rate should hit very, very high, and you should be able to close as many appointments as possible. And another benefit is that you have to speak to fewer people, yet you're able to make more money and you're able to close more deals, and that's a win-win for you, that's a win-win for them. All right, so if you have any questions about closing, then feel free to hit me up, leave a comment or ask me a question, and I'll be very, very happy to reply you. Bye bye.